Wahrscheinlich das. A health checkup report belonging to the defendant. The Kitagis are trying to get out of the business. The health checkup this month was their first ever. What did you think when you heard about this? Nothing. Why should I think anything? Oh, I would think you were positively beside yourself, because you were afraid. You knew what Walkie's chest x-ray would reveal. A full half year had passed since the operation. You thought you were home free, when the chart came back to haunt you. That's all, Your Honor.
What just happened? Did the witness just admit to lying?
I sensed it. There was a great aura emanating from her forehead. Very cool. So, the lady was lying, it seems. That's correct. She said she had no connection to the Maractus clinic, but her connection was deep indeed. A bit too deep. If the Kitagis get a hold of this chart with her name, she'd be finished. Isn't that right, Miss Tiala? You guessed it.
Order, order!
I did it. I broke her testimony. Amazing, Apollo. I didn't see it at all. Daddy was right about you. Wait.
Miss Tiala?
It's true that chart was bad news for me. That's why I went to meet the doctor that day. But that's all. I told him about Walkie and went home. It appears this cross-examination is far from over. What? She hid the truth from us, this is clear. Yet, it is not clear that this truth has anything to do with the case at hand.
Very well, the witness will add this to her testimony, and we'll have a bit more cross-examination.
I was so close. You're still close. Keep on her, Apollo. Nothing happened at all. I warned him and left.
Hold it!
How did Dr. Maractus respond to the warning? Oh, he was quite surprised, panicky even. We wouldn't be scared to learn Akitaki was after them.
Incidentally, this court is not afraid of any mobsters. Why, we had a life-threatening situation just yesterday right here in this courtroom.
Yeah, real impressive the way you stood up to the attack of the amazing Mr. Hatster. After which I carried you back to your chambers. Sounds like the judge had quite a fright. Nothing happened in Dr. Maractus' office that day, huh? But what about the mess we found? Something definitely happened in that office, Apollo. I know. But we can't prove when it happened. Nor that Alita Tiana was in any way involved. Well, let's try putting some evidence up anyway. There's no way she went to the clinic just to warn him. Vielleicht die Kugel? Oder die Lampe? Hier mal die Lampe. Oh. Oh. Für heute gibt's Game Over, ich spür's schon. Ich spüre das Game Over. Es guckt schon um die Ecke und grinst mich an. Hatte ich doch recht mit der Kugel. You say nothing happened in the doctor's office. I disagree. Take a look at this. What's that? It looks like a squished up ball of clay. Kind of like you, actually. What? This bullet was found in the Maractus Clinic office. Something did happen in that office, Miss Tiana.
Objection!
Enough of this joking around. The police investigated that clinic.
Objection!
But this was stuck inside the doctor's safe.
Inside the safe?
I guess the police didn't check that far.
Objection!
But there is a problem. How can you say that bullet was fired on that day?
Objection!
Oh, jetzt geht's hin und her. Weren't you the one who explained rifling marks to us? The pistol was taken from the Kitaki mansion that day. If the marks on this bullet match the murder weapon. Oh, stimmt. And that proves the firearm was discharged in that office on the day of the murder. Not bad, her forehead.
Bailiff, have this bullet analyzed immediately.
30 minutes later, a report arrives. The rifling marks on both bullets are identical.
Well, it seems as though the bullet in the safe was fired from the murder weapon. Perhaps the defense would like to state their position.
The bullet in that safe proves one fact. A pistol was fired in that office on that day. And at the time of the firing, the safe was open. The safe which contained the top secret chart. Nee, der hat mit dem anderen Gavin zu tun. Den man im Tutorial Trial hat hinter Gitter gebracht. Deswegen hatte ich auch kurz überlegt, den mit einem deutschen Akzent zu sprechen. Aber ansonsten macht er ja einen auf Mr. Obercool. Und da macht der deutsche Akzent klingt dann halt eher lächerlich. Und hat irgendwie nicht zu dem sonstigen Image gepasst. Und jetzt juckt mein Auge. Nein.
Do you think someone was threatening Dr. Maractus in order to open the safe?
Only one person was in a position to do such a thing. Our witness, Alita Tiala.
Order, order, order! Mr. Justice, where are you going with this? Are you accusing the witness?
Alita Tiala knew about Waki Kitaki's botched operation. She got engaged to him without telling him about it. As long as that bullet remained in his chest, his days were numbered. What if she married him and then the bullet finally reached its destination?
What?
That reminds me. Apparently, the Kitakis have been asserting themselves in lawful business practices. They are making quite a great deal of money, a fortune, if you will.
Nefarious, so she planned to marry him just to get her hands on this fortune?
Huh? Oh, nein.
You keep talking trash about my leader, dude, and I sue you for all you mean.
Me?
Yeah, you said you'd abuse my leader.
I think you mean accuse.
Same difference, dude. Well, you can't have her. She's mine. It was me. I shot the doctor at me. He left me to die, so I left him to die too. There in that park.
Waki, just cool down a second.
You keep your hands off my leader or I'll... Miss Tiala?
I'm sorry, it's been so long since I've laughed so hard. Something funny? Waki, wake up and smell reality.
Alita, baby.
The signature on the chart, the engagement. I mean, come on, it's so obvious. Even for a brainless, spoiled brat such as yourself.
A leader.
Your honesty is like a breath of foul air, Fräulein. Hey, I wasn't getting out of this clean anyway. So the family fortune is what you're really after. That's right, I wanted the money.
No way, that's whack. I ain't trying to hear that.
Should have done the wedding earlier. Oh well. By the way, can I ask you a question?
Oh, me?
I believe you said you were going to abuse me.
Accused, not abused.
Of what crime, might I ask? Huh? Oh, I'm a bad girl, sure. I got close to that brat because I wanted his money. But he was the one with the pistol. He could have fired into the safe after I had already left the clinic.
What?
I would never do a thing like that. It was definitely that silly brat.
Wait, but...
What are you talking about? Trucy, you had the most to lose if that chart was found. But I didn't have a pistol, now did I? Well, you could have taken walkies. You'd think he'd have mentioned that, no? All I've heard him say is, it was me, I shot him.
Objection!
It's only because he's trying to protect you. Sorry to intrude in this lovely conversation. But the two of you are forgetting one critical point. What point? Certainly the Fräulein wanted that chart. You assume she threatened the doctor into opening that safe, but then, wouldn't she have taken the chart? Oh, you see, that chart wouldn't have been left in that safe. He's right.
Miss Tiala,
Yes?
it is clear to this court that you are not a very good fiancé.
Oh, I'm flattered.
Perhaps it's time you told us the truth.
Ja, stimmt. Warum ist das Dokument immer noch da drin gewesen? Vielleicht,
Tell us about yourself, including your actions and whereabouts on that day.
Don't forget, we've proven that you were at the Maractus clinic on the day of the crime. Yes, I went to the clinic that day to speak to the doctor. I wanted that chart, but I failed to get it, so I went back to the clinic later. In any case, I didn't shoot him. You don't even have proof I stole that pistol, do you? And that brat was spotted in the park at the moment of the crime. Frankly, I don't think it matters if Dr. Maractus was shot in the temple or not. Sollte die das wissen? Na gut, vielleicht war sie am Tag davor anwesend.
You went back later.
That chart was dangerous, you understand? I needed to get rid of it. That's why I went that day. But you couldn't get the chart then, could you? And later that night, Dr. Maractus was shot. I heard about the shooting, waited a day, but then I had to go back. No easy feat with the cops all over the place.
Ah, that was you?
Ja, es ist irgendwie random, dass sie es mit dem Tempel erwähnt. Und es wirkt irgendwie definitiv wie irgendwas, auf das wir uns stürzen sollten.
Someone's in there. I break in, they left through that window. Break in, yeah.
So you are the burglar. That was you too? If only I had one more minute. Then I could have opened that safe and gotten the chart.
What? That's trespassing and brazen at that.
Oh, is this a trial for trespassing now? Besides, you can't blame a girl for wanting to protect herself. They are gangsters, you know.
In any case, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination.
Admitting the little crime to avoid the big one, huh? I went to the lane that is big to the doctor. Why that day? That brat was uncontrollable. He was ready to kill. And that would bring in the police. And that chart would become evidence. And I'd be hung out to dry. But the police didn't check the safe, did they? Well, they thought the crime scene was the park. I'll make sure the responsible parties feel the heat. Such sloppiness won't be tolerated, young. I'm kind of thankful for that sloppiness myself, actually. Well, the chart, but I failed to get it, so I went back to the clinic later. When I heard what happened, well, I was too scared to do anything that day, so I waited until the day after, the 16th, was it? Of course, you and that meddling kid had to get in my way.
But why did Dr. Maractus keep that chart around at all? It was clearly dangerous for him. He could have burned it.
Because he's a coward. The chart was his insurance.
Insurance?
My signature on that chart, to be more specific. That made sure I couldn't betray him. Ah. Stimmt. Ich habe mich tatsächlich nämlich auch schon gefragt, warum er den Chart überhaupt noch hatte. In any case, I didn't shoot him. You don't even have proof I stole that pistol, do you? But you could have stolen it. Could have? Is this some new definition of proof? Well, we'll ask Walkie. He'll tell us.
Objection!
Might I remind you, this is a cross-examination. You might want to keep your baseless theories to yourself. He's right, isn't he? That brat was spotted in the park at the moment of the crime. Yeah, but what? You have nothing to say. This case is over. It was over the moment the brat was seen in the park. What's the point in dragging it out any further? Frankly, I don't think it matters if Dr. Maractus was shot in the temple or not. The doctor was shot in the right temple, yes? So it seems. Let's review the facts again, shall we? If the killer shot from this location, the bullet would have struck our victim square in the forehead. However, the entry wound was in the right temple.
Yes, we heard testimony of this yesterday. At the time of the shooting, the witness was standing here.
Na, stimmt ja gar nicht, er stand auf der anderen Seite.
Just before the gun was fired, he shouted. The victim turned his head to look and was shot.
Yeah. But that testimony was proven to be a lie. Our egregious panty snatcher, Mr. Stigler, did witness the crime, but he was standing to the north, next to the trash can where he tossed those panties. If Mr. Stigler shouted from this location, the bullet couldn't hit his right temple. Silly attorney. What? Do you remember what you had for breakfast that morning? Do you remember Trucy? I always have a glass of milk for breakfast. What matters is one thing. The doctor was shot in his right temple. If that's the case, there can only be one explanation. The panties guy was mistaken. Objection! But his location was proven. You can't write that off as him being mistaken. Objection! Then why don't you show us her forehead? Show you what? Must I explain everything? Well, let's recap. If the witness, panties guy, was standing to the north, then where was the shooter standing? From what location did the killer shoot the victim?
But wait, if the witness was standing there, how could anyone shoot the victim in the right temple?
I merely laid out the facts for us. It is up to the one possessing the shiny forehead to show us. If you can, that is. Walkie-Talkie was standing at the killer mark, Wesley Stickler at the witness mark, and of course Palmerectus was at the victim mark.
Let's hear what the defense has to say. Where was the killer standing when they shot the victim?
Da muss er woanders gewesen sein. Ich sag immer noch, dass der Täter in dem Nudelwagen drin war. As the facts stand now, we can't explain this crime without contradicting ourselves at some point. But I know why. The real killer shot from an entirely different location. What are you talking about? I don't see any other place.
Apparently Mr. Justice does. Let's hear it. Where in the park did the killer shoot the victim from?
Objection!
It's time to raise the roof and the stakes. Huh? Penalties are such frightening things, don't you think? But what if they were a bit more terrifying? Like so.
Double penalty?
Oh mein Gott, dann bin ich ja sofort tot. Herr Forehead wishes to take us in a new direction? Then he must be ready for the challenges ahead. Challenge accepted. It's justice time. Are you sure, Apollo? The key is the witness, Mr. Stickler's testimony. If we believe that, and we know where he stood, and the victim turned when he shouted, there's only one place the killer could have been. The killer shot the victim from here. Und da fällt mir jetzt auch wieder ein, wir haben hier einen Fußabdruck gesehen, aber nur einen. Und es würde doch dazu passen, wenn jemand von dem Weg hier, wo keine Fußabdrücke hinterlassen wurden, in den Wagen steigt. Der erste Fuß geht auf den Boden und der zweite Fuß geht in den Wagen. Wenn ich von hier da reinsteige, setze ich eventuell nur einen Fuß dahin und den nächsten Fuß in den Nudelwagen. Das muss Tiala gewesen sein, die ist hier in den Wagen gestiegen, wenn. I believe we all owe a debt of gratitude to Miss Alita Tiala. What do you mean? Thanks to you, we had a chance to review the crime. And this time, we were prepared. We know that Wesley Stickler was telling the truth. We should have listened to him from the beginning. Wesley Stickler was standing next to the trash can when he saw the two men. He shouted just as he told us in his testimony. And the victim turned to look in his direction. A shot was fired. The victim was hit in the right temple.
Oh no.
Oh yes. Moment mal. Müsste da nicht ein Loch in dem Nudelwagen sein? Wobei, das ist ein Vorhang, ne? Könnte man ja vielleicht auch in dem Moment zur Seite gezogen haben. Which direction was his right temple facing at that moment? That's right. Toward the noodle stand.
Order, order. So you're saying the killer was inside the noodle stand?
Let's think about this a bit more, shall we? You say the killer was inside the noodle stand, which would mean the victim, Dr. Maractus, came to the park wheeling his own... Meine Fresse. Murderer in the cart behind him. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I think you notice if you were pulling someone along. Ich glaube, ich reagiere auf irgendwas gerade. Ich meine, mein Auge fing an zu jucken wie blöde. Jetzt die Nase. Oh, was? Hier ist doch gar nichts. Die Katze ist auch nicht gekommen. Ich bin ja eh allergisch gegen 7 Milliarden Sachen. There's something we should worry about before that. Why was he pulling the noodle stand in the first place? Das habe ich mich auch schon öfters gefragt. Appalling justice. Let's deal with our problems one at a time, shall we? Someone was hiding in the stand. We have not come this far to talk about possibilities. Let's talk about proof, baby. Show us evidence that proves someone was in that stand. Can I prove that? You want evidence that someone was in that stand? Well, I've got it. Well, too bad, ist jetzt nicht so eine geile Antwort. I've got it right here.
Intriguing. Let's see what you've got.
Ob die gehen? Ich würde die halt nehmen, aber vielleicht denke ich da auch gerade schon zu weit. Okay. The Maractus Clinic, and they're covered with paint. These slippers were found in a trash can near the crime scene. And a single slipper print was found at the scene. Right next to the noodle stand. Oh, and Miss Tiala, your toe print was found in the left slipper. In other words, this is proof you were inside that noodle stand. Objection! Yet there was only one slipper mark found at the scene. Can this be called a footprint in good faith? Objection! Observe the diagram. A park pathway runs right next to the slipper mark. A slipper wouldn't leave a trace on a cobblestone path. Genau was ich vorhin meinte. Yet you still cannot say this is a footprint, yeah? Why not? You have an impression left by a single slipper. What if it was on the stand and simply fell to the ground? That's just dumb. One more thing, a noodle stand is typically cluttered with the tools of the noodle making trade. There's no room for a person to ride in there.
You have a point. Could someone have hidden in that stand?
Apollo, I think I might be onto something.
Huh?
I think I've figured out one of our pieces of evidence. In order to make room in the stand, some things would have to be...
Well, Mr. Justice, do you have proof that someone could have hidden in the stand?
Oh, Christian hatte vielleicht auch recht mit den Nudelschüsseln. Someone did scheme to clear space in that stand. This is a noodle bowl from the stolen Aldoon's noodle stand.
Yes, and what about it?
We discovered a large quantity of these bowls yesterday. Scheiße, Christian, du hattest recht. Da bin ich in dem Moment gar nicht drauf gekommen. in the lobby of the Maractus Clinic.
A large quantity of noodle bowls in the victim's clinic.
Gut, dass Christian das vorhin geschrieben hat, sonst hätte ich dieses Ding jetzt vielleicht gar nicht ausgewählt. Mr. Elton was very clear about those bowls.
Well, I don't care who did it. Without that stunt, I'm finished. All my noodle bowls are way in there too.
Yet the bowls were removed. That night, there was space inside that noodle stand. Space created at the Maractus Clinic, no less. Right around the time that you were there, Miss Alitas. Stop!
I won't listen to any more of these wild fantasies. No, not fantasies. They're worse lies than that spoiled brat's pickup lines.
I would like to remind the witness of her current status. This court does not consider you entirely innocent.
Show me an innocent, I'll show you a fairy tale.
In any case, the defense has somehow made its point. The witness had both a motive and an opportunity to kill Dr. Maractus.
More fairy tales. This whole trial is a fairy tale.
Then please pull us back down to reality, Miss Tiala. I'm giving you one last chance to explain yourself.
This is it. Why was Dr. Maractus pulling that stand that night? And what was Alita Tiala doing inside it? Time to get to the bottom of this case.
That night, I went to ask Dr. Maractus for the chart. I had no intention of ever letting that chart fall into the Kitaki family's hands. But Dr. Maractus didn't understand. For some reason, he thought the Kitakis had sent me. So I gave up and went home. All I did was talk to him.
Scheiße, ist ja gleich schon 11 Uhr. You knew about the botched operation, so you tried to get rid of the chart to save yourself.
I won't make excuses. And I did warn the good doctor. I gave him a chance. I told him that Brett got his health checkup report, and that he was coming to settle the score.
I see. Very well, Mr. Justice, begin your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. This is the last testimony. Either I perceive the truth, or it's over. Oh nein, muss ich wieder die dämliche Perceive-Function nehmen. Oh ja, sie ist auch schon wieder hier. That night I went to ask Dr. Maractus for the chart. That's my present. So you did go to steal that chart.
Were you listening? I said I asked him for it.
The victim was a man in good health. I don't see how she could have coerced him.
True, it would have been impossible without a pistol. But what if she did have a pistol?
I'll admit I wanted the chart, that much is true. My reason was simple.
I had no intention of ever letting the chart fall into the Kitaki family's hands. It certainly would have put a damper on your wedding plans, I'd say.
Not only that, if the Kitakis had gotten the chart, I'd probably be with Dr. Maractus now, pulling that great noodle stand in the sky.
Ja, aber hören die nicht gerade beim Trial zu?
It seems our witness was in a fix as well.
Who would want to die pulling a noodle stand? When I die, it will be by disappearing mysteriously in the middle of a magic act.
Could we be a little less morbid, please, and not talk about you dying?
So you see, I needed that chart. But Dr. Maractus didn't understand.
He didn't understand?
He wouldn't listen to a word I was saying. The moment he saw me, he started to tremble. I thought, what a sad excuse for a man.
Please don't smile like that anymore, it's creepy.
He was practically delusional. For some reason, he thought the Kitakis had sent me.
They sent you?
He thought the Kitakis had sent me to get the chart.
It makes some sense. You are their son's fiancé.
Don't make me laugh. The Kitakis sent me. They don't play that way. If they had known about the chart, they would have gone in there with guns blazing. But I couldn't convince the trembling doctor otherwise. So I gave up and went home. All I did was talk to him.
If that was really all that happened, what were all those noodle bowls doing in there?
How should I know? There weren't any bowls when I went, I know that much. Why don't you let me be and go look for your killer someplace else, alright?
Do I detect uncertainty there? This is my last chance.
Paulo, any word from your bracelet?
Yeah, actually, I felt him respond.
I couldn't see a thing. It's up to you, Paulo.
Time to perceive the truth. Oh. Gut, haben wir noch 5 Minuten, die Truth zu perceiven. Es ist wieder der Finger. When Arctis. The chart. Receiven lieber die Trucy, genau. I have no intention of letting the child fall into the Kentucky family's hands. Ich kann mir aber eigentlich nicht vorstellen, dass jetzt nochmal irgendwie ein neuer Tick kommt, oder? Insofern sollte ich das hier wahrscheinlich gar nicht probieren. Sondern nochmal was nehmen, wo sie an ihrem... Nee. Ich wollte sagen, ich soll nochmal was nehmen, wo sie an ihrem Ring rumfummelt, aber das wäre ja höchstens hier. Und da war nichts. Da muss ich wohl doch noch aufs andere gucken. Hier vielleicht, weil das ist ja ganz bestimmt eine Lüge. Da. Gotcha! All I did was talk and lie. What? Show me proof. I'm pretty sure about this one. I think I'm getting the hang of this. A little slip in confidence and they give it all away. The proof is you, Miss Tiala. All I did was talk to him, you claim. Yet you can't hide your own nervous twitch when you say those words. Was ich halt auch ein bisschen komisch finde an dieser Mechanik ist, das würde doch niemals vor Gericht irgendwie funktionieren. Du kannst doch nicht sagen, ja, aber der Zeuge hat in diesem einen Wort, das er gesagt hat, mit dem kleinen Finger gezuckt. Und das ist der Beweis dafür, dass es nicht stimmt. Das ist ein bisschen komisch, finde ich. My twitch, what are you talking about? You have a habit of scratching the area of your neck around the edge of your scarf. What? This is working better than I'd hoped. Wobei, vielleicht ist es auch nicht so, dass er das als Proof benutzt, sondern nur um die aus dem Konzept zu bringen und dazu zu bringen, irgendwas zu sagen, was sie nicht sagen sollen. Her unconscious actions tell the truth she won't say. Habits and lies. 2 dots. Connect the dots and find the truth. Don't look at me like that. I told the truth. It seems that when you recall what really happened in that office, you can't keep your hands off your neck, can you? Ist es vielleicht doch, dass er versucht hat, sie mit der Lampe zu erdrosseln? And it seems that nervous habits are unconscious reactions that manifest when someone is trying to hide something. You can't hide behind your scarf, Miss Tiala. Sie hat ja den Schal. Vielleicht hat sie darunter... Something happened between you and the victim in the Miraculous Clinic office. And I've got proof that shows exactly what happened. What's that? You're touching your scarf again. There's something unusual about this lamp. The bulb is broken, and there's a red splotch on the cord. Seeing how you hide your neck, I think I can come up with a plausible explanation for the lamp's state. Well, spit it out. This talking in circles nonsense is killing me. Very well. The answer is very simple, Miss Alita Tiala. Please remove your scarf. And the rest of your time. No. This is a trial to determine what happened in that park, yet we seem to have drifted off target. We'll find out soon enough if we're drifting, as soon as the witness removes her scarf. I won't do it. This is insane. I'm an unrelated third party. You can't order me to remove my clothing.
Miss Tiala, I'm afraid you've forgotten what's already been proved.
What?
You're hardly unrelated. Please remove your scarf.
Ja, leider ist es 11 Uhr. Dann werden wir wohl nächste Woche sehen, was sich unter diesem Schal versteckt. Und für heute... Oh, ich kann ja Save machen, wenn ich Quit Game mache. Ist es das dann gewesen? Ja, genau. Muss ja auch mal wieder hier einen Cliffhanger benutzen. Obwohl, also so Cliffhanger ist es ja jetzt auch nicht unbedingt. Ich meine, ich kann mir ja schon denken, was da drunter ist. Aber gut. Dann bis nächste Woche am 25. Da geht's dann weiter. Gute Nacht.